All right. Welcome to this Inside Scoop. As a guest, we have Veronique Willems with us today. We have been working together for 6 months, and Veronique is one of those top leading ladies that you just want to know because she is such an inspiration and she is on top of the world. And I'm going to let her introduce herself by telling us a little bit more of who she is and what she does. So welcome, Veronique. Thank you so much for joining us today. And please do share a little bit more about yourself and your journey to this huge success.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you also for inviting me to join today. I'm Veronique. I am the Secretary General at SME United, which is an organization at European level representing the interests of small and medium-sized enterprises. So making sure that we shape the European policies, European laws, in a way that they are working well for small and medium-sized enterprises, and that we also make sure that they can get all the benefits out of the European Union and what it has to offer to them.
That sounds like a handful.
It is.
I can imagine that being a young girl, it's not your dream to land in this specific situation. So what made you get here? What drove you to this position and to this European level of working and networking and doing your thing?
Well, I've always been kind of an idealist. I always wanted to improve the world. And when I was studying, I had the opportunity to do a traineeship in a national organization working for self-employed. Uniso, you might know them. I always had the feeling that they were the underdogs. They were not taken care of the way it should have been. They were contributing a lot to society, but not in a way. They were not recognized in that way. And so going from there, from that idealistic view on how the world could be, and I think that's also something high sensitive people carry in them, I started working with them, developed my career within the organization. And then you learn more and more, and you get to a next level, and you get to a next level. And at a certain moment, I was invited to coordinate European affairs. And then you get involved with the European organization, and you also get to know organizations across the European Union, in other member states. And you get more and more intrigued by how it functions in those countries and why it's not working and how we can improve it at the European level so that it's easier for everybody. And at a certain moment, our European organization was looking for a new Secretary General, and I had the chance to also put forward my candidature, apply for the position, and I got elected. So that was it was quite a challenge. I can remember that the song "I'm Only Human" was a big hit at that moment, and I was always listening to that song and thinking, okay, I can always say I'm only human, I cannot do everything. But yeah, we always want to do a lot, of course.
Yeah, that's so beautiful that you mentioned the fact that being high sensitive, we have this ideal vision for ourselves, for our life, for the world, and we want everything to be as good as possible for everyone in it. And yeah, by the sound of your story, I mean, that sounds like a lot of pressure to put on your own shoulders. So how did you cope with that on your journey to the success?
Well, it was a huge challenge, and I must say that I also lost myself a bit in the process. I thought I had to comply with a certain image that I thought everybody else wanted me to comply with, which made me lose myself. I was a very enthusiastic, open, passionate person, and I started downsizing myself, blending in, conforming to what I thought was the norm. And that made it more and more difficult. And I think that was also the reason why I lost myself, and why at a certain moment I looked for coaching that could help me find my way again. And that's when we also got in touch and started working together.
Yeah, because it's normal, you know, when you reach new heights on your success and in your journey of personal growth and you know, job wise as well, it's always this amazing flow, because you and me are a little bit the same that way. You know, we keep on going, we have this vision, we're so passionate, we're so driven, but then once you get there, it just actually starts to sink in, and behind the scenes that can just generate so much pressure and also self-doubt and a million things going through our mind, because again, we are those people being high sensitive who want to do the absolute best. And that's where the challenges rise up. And I couldn't be happier that you've reached out to me at that point, because, you know, it's so interesting that when you've started to experience these challenges, that you didn't just think, oh, this is shit, and that you kept going around and around in that circle, but being driven and passionate as you are, there's just one possible outcome, and that is finding a solution. So I can overcome this again. And to me, honestly, I think that's probably one of the reasons why you are as successful as you are, and why you made this big growth sprint working together. It has been a marathon, but you have been sprinting as well, because you are on fire, and I'm so proud of everything that you've achieved personally and career-wise. So can you tell us a little bit about what was the biggest challenge for you that we have been working on together?
Well, I think my main challenge was I'm really driven, and up until I started in this position, I was able to do everything by myself. I was interacting with other people, but in the end, if necessary, I could still manage and do it myself, because we can handle a lot. And that's also what I started doing here. I was gone, and the colleagues, I sometimes forgot that I also had to keep them on board. I also didn't always acknowledge that my brain might be functioning in a different way, and that I might be sprinting off and not making sure that I had everyone else with me. So I was raising the bar for everybody, and sometimes for them it was also difficult. I think what you also mentioned several times was you need to make it lighter. I made heavy burdens for myself also by seeing the top of the mountain, but not the next step. I always wanted to be immediately on top of the mountain. When I took on a new endeavor, whatever it was, I wanted to have it already next week, and I always forgot the steps to get there. And I think that was one of the main things that I learned from you. Make it lighter for yourself. And that also, at a certain point, I don't know whether my colleagues already recognize it now, but I really start working on, okay, you want to do this, but it doesn't have to be done by next week. You need a few months, and you need to plan, and you need to get in touch with people and take the next step. And then when you have done that, you can determine the next step to take. So I think that's one of the most important things that I've taken along. And another thing that I had to learn, because you always have your own perception. I see the world from my perspective, with my thoughts, with my emotions. And as you always said, you have to turn the elephant. You might feel that you're looking at his tail and that shit is coming down, but maybe you should turn it, and then you can look into the sweet eyes. I can still remember, that's a metaphor that I take along. Because, and I've also been mentioning to friends, if they were really in a difficult position, or to colleagues, turn the elephant, try to find another angle. And I think those are two really strong lessons that I've taken along, and might not apply them all the time, but I try to once in a while take a step back and try to see it in another way.
Yeah, and that's so interesting, because I remember that in the beginning, you also had the feeling that you were carrying all the troubles of the world on your shoulders alone. It was very lonely, actually, because you didn't feel supported, and you always sensed like, I always have to do everything in the end. And I think that you grew so much in that by applying those two those two exercises that you just mentioned, because it is normal when you are so driven and when you're so passionate, because for us it's very easy to envision where we want to go. But first of all, others have to jump on that train too, of course. And then there is, what, like you said, the step by step process that we need to take in order to see that vision grow along the way. Because that's the beautiful part, that each new step that you take, new insights are shown as well. And that's why now your results are even more powerful, because you give yourself and your team the time to take those steps and to actually grow even further. And that is so powerful, and in business and in life as well, because you cannot skip any step if you want to reach the absolute top. But the thing is, because we want to do everything so perfect, it's actually the perfectionism in ourselves that can really hold us back and actually bring us down a little bit in that journey instead of lifting us up. But that is exactly what you've been doing by making it lighter and by focusing on this one step right now, so that you can keep growing in the process and not stay stuck in a certain vision. And that is so strong and beautiful to see how you and your whole team grew into that. And the perception part, I really love that you mentioned the elephant, because I've talked about that huge turd coming down.
Yep.
That we can change it. And that's what I think that is the most beautiful thing. Once you work on yourself, you get to inspire your environment as well. And it really brings me joy to hear that you are spreading the word already in your own environment. And that is the powerful wrinkle effect that happens when you work on yourself. You inspire others by just being you. And that is so beautiful. And yeah, it is like you say, you can definitely make a certain opinion on a situation that is happening, but you can never forget the fact that that opinion is created from your subconscious brain, who's actually telling you your truth and showing you your beliefs, which is not always the truth. That is just how we see the world. Absolutely. But there are so many different ways of looking at it. And can you tell me a little bit how you apply? Do you have like an example, a certain situation? It can be light, it can be fun, it doesn't matter. But do you have like a certain situation where you recently had to turn the elephant, to give an example?
Well, I think I have several, but working with a team of people coming from all over Europe, you also see the difference in culture. And I often have discussions on texts that are going out, being Belgian, being Flemish. I'm to the point, not too much text, not too much words, needs to be clear and direct. And if you then work with colleagues coming from France or from Italy, they are more in the literature side. So they often use a bit more words, they put more adjectives, they make the text look nice. And then we always have discussions on, but we should be clear to our members, they shouldn't be reading too much, or policymakers, they don't have a lot of time anymore, so they're not going to read 10 pages, we need to reduce it in a clear and direct manner. So it's always an exchange, and then they tell me, yeah, but you're looking at it from your Flemish perspective, you're going straight ahead, but we have the more southern approach and it's more softer. So that's one of the points where I now start realizing, okay, you have your point of view, but there are people looking at it from another side as well, and you also have to take that into account, and learning to also take into account those different perspectives and cultures and visions.
Which
it's not always easy, yeah, but
no, it doesn't have to be, but it is easier in the end than staying stuck in the old patterns, which is why we brought this technique to the table, to the party. And can you tell me a little bit about the impact that these techniques had for you in your business and in your personal life? What is the progress that you've experienced from that?
Well, I think that I've found myself again. I'm a lot, and maybe the whole COVID period has also helped a bit, but getting more relaxed, and also acknowledging more the results that I've already accomplished. So instead of always thinking I need to do more, it needs to be better, I haven't done enough yet, seeing what I've did, but also recognizing towards the team which contributions they have made, and also complimenting them on what they have achieved. Because I may be the Secretary General, but I'm one person in a team, and they are doing the work. And in that view, I think that accepting that, and also accepting compliments from others when they say you're doing a good job, or wow, what a result you made with the organization. Now accepting that, instead of thinking what do they want to say, I probably didn't do something right, there's something that I didn't do right, I must improve further. That now I can really accept it, and also share it with others, and also give them their reward, let's say.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That is not just improving your results, but that is also improving the well-being of everyone in your circle.
Yeah.
That is just so beautiful. And to finish this off, because we've been working together for 6 months, we've been using a lot of techniques, we've been, looking at your situation, assessing, evolving, keep on growing, assessing again. Can you tell me a little bit, but not me, but to someone who's looking, who might be in a similar position, or who might be in a leadership position in whatever way, and might experience these challenges as well, or might be high sensitive as well. Mm-hmm. What would be the biggest insight that you have learned from us working together that you would like to share with others?
Getting to know yourself, how your brain is wired, how you function, finding out what works best for you, and making the whole environment fit. I mean, not making other people adapt to you, but making sure that you put in a frame that works for you. Yeah. And accepting that you sometimes drop the ball, but that you have to pick it back up again. And as you already mentioned, and I liked the slogan today as well, it's not getting easier, you just get better. And that's also what I'm improving, but in small steps. And often I think afterwards, shit, I dropped the ball again. But I hope at a certain moment that I will have the feeling like, ooh, I'm letting go of the ball, and I need to keep it tighter so that I don't drop it, and that will start happening more and more. And that's what I already notice now, that you realize at a certain point, next time I'm going to do it that way, and it will be even better than what I did now. And you learn, and you also try to see what your impact is on your environment.
Yeah, that is exactly what it's all about. And yeah, I love the way that you say that, because it makes me think about the expression we use here in Belgium. But if I would translate it, I would say, about dropping the ball, that you would keep the ball closer.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't drop it and it can fall out of your hands, but the closer the ball is to you, so the more aware and the more conscious you are about it, the easier it is to catch it again. Even if it falls and it comes back up, you've got the ball again in front of you. And that's just fine. But I think it's also from my side of this experience of working with you is that you've also developed more softness and kindness towards yourself while dropping the ball, because we will always drop the ball, because like you started this conversation, we will always be human, and that's fine, and we are supposed to be human. But accepting that and embracing it, even by just allowing ourselves to make, I know for sure that is one of my biggest growth steps that I still need to work on every once in a while. So, you know, it's not that you have to be perfect at something. It's just that it gets easier for you because you get better. Yeah. And because you've got that ball close, and because you can give yourself the space to still be kind to yourself when you drop it, because you will pick it back up and you will keep on moving forward. And that is super powerful. I'm so grateful that you have been with us today, and I'm so happy that I got to see you again.
Yep.
And thank you for your wisdom and for your beautiful words today. So just to finish off, you know, if you are an actor, a musician, a performer, or working on a high level with a lot of pressure in the spotlight, and this conversation has resonated with you, and you do want to learn more, then you can visit my website, you can discover opportunities to work together, or you can just book a conversation with me and we'll have a chat and see, you know, if we're a match and if I can do anything for you. And if working together would sound like fun, because let's be honest, it's 6 months. We do need to have some fun, right, Veronique?
We do, but as I've experienced, you lead by example, so I can only recommend it.
Oh, that is really kind. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. And enjoy your evening today. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.